Welcome back to the Inward Nine Fantasy Golf Metrics production. My name is Jeff Ulrich, and we are here at the third major championship of the year, the Open, or the Open Championship, I think, as it used to be called. It used to be called the British Open, too. Now it's just called the Open. And I'm here with, as always, Fantasy Golf Metrics co-founder Stephen Richter. We're going to be going over everything today. We're going to be talking about DraftKings, DFS, betting, maybe a little even we'll get to one and done. Steve, you watch the John Deere Classic at all, or do you even care?
I did not watch really any of it. Michael Kim, it was cool to see him win by a
And
lot.
Michael Kim, that's all we need to say about the John Deere. Michael Kim.
Michael Kim.
Hey, and look, we put up like a nice free roll for people too, so we'll definitely summarize that. If you did take part in the free roll, definitely get in contact with Steve over Twitter at FGmetrics if you were like top 10 or anything like that, because we obviously want to make sure people get paid out and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, not much else needs to be said. Michael Kim.
Yeah, we got U2 Clay was the winner of that free roll. So yeah, top 10. I've already given a couple of the people that weren't subscribers a free month. That was the prize for finishing top 10. If you're a subscriber, you get a $20. We're basically PayPaling everyone because we can't just like input that Millie Maker ticket, but we're PayPaling everyone $20. So I've gotten through most of the guys. I think I'm waiting on a couple just to DM us. So if you're listening to this and you're in that top 10, hit us up and we'll make sure you get your prize.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And obviously, if you haven't checked out the site, fantasygolfmetrics.com, I mean, this is like the perfect time to get in. Obviously, we got the Open this week, only $5 for a weekly. But if you get the monthly now, it basically takes you to what, like the end of the Wyndham or something like that?
Yeah, to the end of the regular season, you basically get 6 events for $15. I mean, it's like, come on.
Yeah, that's exactly. And I mean, 2 major championships in there, right? So this is a great week to get in. Definitely check out the site anyway. It's free to register, but you can check out the subscriptions on there. So okay, we got the free roll going. We got all the junk out of the way. How excited are you for this week? I mean, I'm pretty pumped. Carnoustie, like the tough Open Championship. I like this. I mean, this is going to be good, I think.
I'm really excited. I mean, listen, obviously every major I'm going to be excited, but I've always gone at length about how I like the more difficult events. You're already starting to see some of the highlights or the top 10, nastiest things about Carnoustie. You see those little feeds, and it's kind of fun to watch. I'll be away over the weekend, but not unable to watch. But I'll probably be up at different hours, so I'll actually help me to follow. So I'm excited to be where I'm going to be to watch.
That's, to me, it's a big plus. The Open too. I like getting up early and just being able to watch like right when I get up, and then but also it's over at like noon, like on Sunday or like 1, and then you don't have to it doesn't interfere with the rest of your day. So I like the Open, man. It's perfect for me, like especially when it's exciting, anyways. But Carnoustie, yeah, I mean the Van de Velde thing. Oh my God, I mean I could do like a whole show on just like the fucking psychology behind that hole. I mean, guy takes driver, hits like unnecessarily hits driver on like one of the toughest finishing holes out there, hits a monster drive, and then it just goes sideways. Like he actually, the one shot he was supposed to lay up on, he didn't, and he actually hit it well, and then he still made 7. Anyways, that's the one thing I'll say about Carnoustie, man. Like, especially for betting purposes this week, and we can get into this like more towards the end of the show maybe, but leave some money for in-play bets, because the finishing stretch here, 248-yard par 3 on like a frying pan green, which is going to be really hard to hit. A really long par 4, which basically forces players to lay up and basically forces them to hit like a long iron into a green. And then the 18th, which has the burn all around it. I mean, people know from the Van de Velde and stuff, a burn, pop bunkers, and then just a really tough approach too. So you're going to see if someone gets in, like you could easily see someone post a number and then the leaders fall back in those last 3 holes. Definitely leave some money for in-play betting if you're into that. That's one of my suggestions this week. But let's. I mean, anything else about the course you want to mention? First of all,
I mean, if you go on the course snapshot tool, like we generally do when we discuss it, there's no strokes gained or shot length data, unfortunately, for the Open. But it just, from what you can see, which is basically scrambling green regulation stuff, I mean, the numbers are tough. I mean, the average green regulation was like 54% in 2007. The winning green regulation was 65.3. That's almost 10% less than like the average winner. Birdies aren't getting made, under 20% birdie or better for the winner. It's fun. It's going to be tough. I mean, it's not terribly long. I mean, it's 71, par 71. 73, 7,400 yards it'll play at.
Yeah.
Bent grass greens with a fescue mix, kind of. That's what I love about the courses out there. It's basically all one turf, and then they just
Right.
cut it different
Right.
lengths based on the fescue, and the
Yeah.
fairways fescue. So, just something to look at there. But yeah, I mean, nothing else too specific. We only have limited data. When we did the key stats, we looked at all opens. So it's kind of, we downgrade putting a little bit, the slower, bumpier greens, less of an effect there. A lot about scrambling, a lot about bogey or worse. I mean, listen, I expect it's going to be a single digit winner out there. So, you're going to need to play really, really grinding golf for 4 days, I think.
Yeah, and the news right now is that the course is like completely burned out. So, which means the fairways are rolling like insanely fast. Like the fairways are rolling faster than the greens. Like you mentioned, the one turf, they're literally rolling faster than the greens. So, it's something to keep an eye on. Some people are saying, well, the Bombers are just going to hit it as far as they can. I don't think that's going to work on a lot of these holes. Like the one thing about Carnoustie, not only does their pot bunkers, it's a lot of out of bounds on this course. So we'll see. I think it's going to take some good course management. Personally, I think it's actually going to help some of the not long hitters to have the course run like that. But in my opinion, it's going to emphasize short games more, and we'll get more into that, who that might help. But that's how it's setting up for the week. Not too crazy in the weather right now. Little bit of wind maybe Friday morning to keep an eye on, but it's just too far out. I posted a link in the article that is up on Fantasy Golf Metrics right now. Basically, it's all like most of the core plays, and I kind of made it like a supersized one, so a lot of golfers mentioned in there, but there's a link to the wind finder in the subscriber article up on Fantasy Golf Metrics right now, so do check that out, windfinder.com. But let's dive into it, man, because we got a big field to cover. Obviously Dustin Johnson walks in here, still the number one player in the world, has not played since the U.S. Open. He's first in the survival guide. He's first in DraftKings salaries, only 11.3, which is actually pretty low, quite frankly. Is there any reason to fade this guy in your mind?
I don't think so. I mean, it's going to be tough. I've been looking at a lot of different combinations on the lineup generator. A lot of times, even if the top ranked player in our model is the top priced player, the generator will not necessarily favor it. But because at 11.3, I had to generate just 500 lineups just to kind of get a breakdown of what it might do with some of those players, and it still had them up there like 20 to 30% range, which I think is a lot for the highest priced guy. So the fact that a mix between the ranking being high enough but the price being so low that it's not prohibitive, and that's the word we always use. It's not like it's 12,000. It's not prohibitive. You can make so many lineups. I mean, if you look at our first class, a lot of guys are in the sevens that are playing really well, so you can easily make up that lineup and feel confident with DJ in there.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the thing. Even if he's not your like pick to win or whatever, I mean for DFS this week, 11.3, his trend is good. I mean, the only worry is he's a little bit of a competitive layoff, and it is something to consider. I mean, I don't think it's so prohibitive though that again, like it means he's going to finish like T50 or something this week. Even 85% DJ probably finishes top 20 in this field. So at 11.3, I just don't know how you don't get at least some exposure to him, especially over Rory and Spieth, who are coming in with more suspect forms. So. Look, I mean, he's not my pick this week. I mean, scrambling wise, I think it hurts him a little bit. I think the fact the course is running fast, I think that actually might hurt him a little bit too. But I won't be shocked if he wins. But for DFS, yeah, I mean, I'll try and get some exposure for sure. So that's pretty much where I am on DJ. What about your feelings on the guys below them? I mean, we got obviously Rory's second at 11K. Deserving or undeserving, whatever, or undeserving, that's what he is. Jordan Spieth, then Justin Rose, 10-2, Justin Thomas at 10K. Thomas hasn't really done anything wrong, for people to fade him. I feel like people are going to anyways. He still sits in our first class, in the FGM Survival Guide first class. Is he the play over Spieth and McIlroy for you? Like, if you had to pick?
I'm not necessarily sure I'm going to say over McIlroy. I definitely like him over Spieth. I mean, we have McIlroy just fitting in the first class, but so is Thomas, and I was even more surprised. I mean, Thomas we actually have up there, but yeah, like you said, it hasn't been sexy, but he's made 5 or 6 cuts with an average finish of 24th. Like, he's playing well. He's not sniffing the leaderboard, and he's not like part of the news. He's just playing some overall good golf and making cuts.
Right.
So he can definitely jump up, but I don't know that I'd take him over Rory because we have Rory up there too. But over Spieth, I mean, I haven't been on Spieth for a while now, and I'm not necessarily sure I'm ready to get back to him this week.
Yeah, I mean it's. I mean, if you listen to our previewed show like at the very start of the year, I mean, I mentioned I think this championship is great for Jordan Spieth in the long run. I think you might see him win this multiple times this event. I just don't think it's going to be this year. The tough course, it didn't show anything at the U.S. Open. For him to flick the switch over a month, I don't see it, man. Like, for DFS, I guess you're going to get low ownership if you want to go that route. I understand it. It's probably fine from a game theory thing. You can easily like backdoor top 10 or shoot like a slow round on Sunday and really pay off for you. But I think I'd rather just go with Thomas or Rory. And Rory, he's got the Open Championship record. I don't know. I don't think I really want to pay up that much. I wish Rory was at Thomas's level because then I would take him over Thomas pretty clearly. But I'm not too interested in any three of those, to be honest. I think I'd rather just take Justin Rose.
Yeah, I mean that's another guy. It's just obviously playing well, and we can talk about the draw implications.
And you look at all of these players too. I mean, okay, so Rory's come in. I mean, he played the Irish Open. I think he might have played one more. Oh, he played the Travelers too. Didn't play well at either of these events. Didn't really play that great. Then you have Thomas. I think he's only played once. He played the French Open. He actually played pretty well there. That's kind of why I might lean Thomas over Rory too. He actually played well at the French Open, which is a really tough venue. T8 there was actually in contention like the whole week. Then you have Justin Rose, who took some time off after the U.S. Open and then played the Scottish Open last week, which is a pure links style course. Top 10 there. The Scottish Open players who've done well have often done well at the Open the next week. It's a really good setup. I don't know why more players don't put it on their schedule, quite frankly. Maybe it's just because a lot of them feel like they got to get the extra PGA points and they don't want to do 2 weeks in Europe. I don't know, but it's been a really good lead up for players, and for Rose to go and play that and to put up a top 10 and to just have the season he's having, I'd feel better with him over those four. So I'm actually pretty big in on Justin Rose. I betting price probably not going to go there, but yeah, DFS, he's who I want in this range personally.
And that's that's a good reason why just heading into last week we started posting the Euro and the Web results. I mean, obviously Web not going to matter this much, but on the guide, if you look at the top, like you're able to see a lot of these Euro finishes, and it kind of helps you give a better idea. I mean, some of the times heading into the majors, you get a lot of players that haven't played on tour because they're whatever, not exemptions, but they qualify for whatever reasons. Here, they're just not playing on tour because they're getting a head start overseas. So you talk about guys like Rahm, Rose, Ricky, they're playing over there, so now you can actually see what they're doing, and they're all playing well. I mean, you look at some of these finishes; they're all playing really well over there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, you go down, and the next couple players we're going to talk about, Jon Rahm, Ricky Fowler. I mean, Ricky obviously played the Quicken, but he played in Scotland last week too. He was in contention the whole week. I think he finished just ahead of Rose. I think he was T6. Yeah, T6. So he's coming off. A couple good, decent starts. I mean, he wasn't great at the Quicken Loans, but I mean, it was his first event since the U.S. Open. And again, just another player. He always puts the Scottish Open on his schedule. Doesn't necessarily help him a ton at this event, but he's been really solid at the Open Championship. I guess my question is, I'm personally in on Ricky this week. Like I'm going to have, especially if the weather draw breaks towards his side, and we'll get into that in a sec, but I'm really in on Ricky. His short game looked absolutely fantastic last week. It was interesting at the Scottish Open. He was actually one of like the bottom of all the people who made the cut. I think he had like one of the fewest greens in regulation for the week. He was still got in at 14 under, and his scrambling looked amazing. So that's where you're going to need this week too. I guess my question to you is, would you take him over Jon Rahm? Like, what's your feeling on Ricky?
I think so. I think in my mind, they're kind of in the same. They're like the same to me, and I think the one tiebreaker is still I need to see Jon Rahm do something down the stretch in a big event. I know Ricky's been there, and maybe he hasn't won it, and people look at that as like not being able to get it done, but I still always point back to the players and a big moment, and he's been able to hold his composure. I'm not saying that Jon Rahm can't. I'm a big Jon Rahm fan, but everyone talking about how his demeanor, his emotions get the best of him, things like that. I want to say, hey, listen, give him a little more time. But they're not wrong, So I need to see.
No, that's especially right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, you can even just look back at this year's Masters. I mean, they were both basically tied going down the stretch. Ricky finished solo second. Jon Rahm got pissed off, made a bogey, and finished like T6. Doesn't sound like much, but especially for DFS, like, I'd probably probably cost some people thousands of dollars who were in that situation. So I'm with you on Ricky. I don't mind both these players, especially their price. Like I said, I feel like Rahm is maybe a superior player over McIlroy given the price difference this week, but I'm all over Ricky. And like I was mentioning, draw-wise, you really got to keep an eye on it this week. The morning Thursday wave isn't jam-packed with star players, but Fowler and Rose are both teeing off fairly early Thursday, and they have really late tee times on Friday. So if the weather breaks their way, could be an interesting setup for Ricky and Rose. Something to keep an eye on. Let's move down, though. Got Tommy Fleetwood, Brooks Koepka, Sergio. Any of these guys interest you? All of them?
In this range, yeah. I mean, Koepka, obviously, you talk about how he's done in the last two U.S. Opens, but you forget how he looks, in his recent British Open performances. I mean, it looks good. I mean, Sergio obviously playing, if you look on the tour, not so great, but obviously he's had some strong finishes over in Europe right now. But in this range, it's tough. It's not that I don't like these guys. I mean, we have basically all of the guys you just mentioned are in the first and second class. It's just, if you want to take one or two of the big guys, you can do a lot more in that 8 and the upper 7 range. So you really have to choose who you want here. Like if you wanted to go DJ Fowler, then you basically can't even have a conversation about Fleetwood, Koepka, Garcia, Day, Woods. You got to move down after that. So that's the thing. I mean, I if you only want to go one of those, higher guys, if you want to go DJ, then you take any of them. But that's kind of the decision you're making. It's like you have to leave probably Fowler or Rahm on the table if you're going to take any of these guys. I'm probably not going to get involved with Sergio just because I'm a little biased from seeing him not play as well on the tour over here. It's probably a bad way to kind of look at it, but I mean, what are your thoughts? I think you've kind of echoed you like Sergio.
I'm on Sergio. I mean, I basically started betting Sergio at the start of the French Open when he started well, because he finished T8 there, but he was in it the whole week. And he actually had a chance to tie Alex Noren late. He ended up hitting it in the bunker and then hit it in the water on the final hole. I mean, again, it's one of the tough, like, seriously, like, the French Open course is immensely tough, especially the finishing hole there, man. Like, that's going to be an awesome Ryder Cup venue. But anyways, back to Sergio. He had a really good ball striking week in Germany after the US Open, and then he played well in France. I've been waiting for him to get in form because I really like him for this event. He's such a good links player. I think the tougher the links venue is, it's better for him. I'm in on him personally. I would take him over Fleetwood and Koepka this week. I've already bet him. He's still around at like 30-1. He's not getting bet down crazy or anything like that, even with the Carnoustie, revenge narrative, whatever. But even for DFS, this guy's got such a good Open Championship record. I mean, it's insane. He's since 2001, I think he's missed the cut here twice, but he's also got like, it might be like 10 top 10s. It's something crazy like that. I mean, he's got so many good finishes at the Open Championship. It's 13 of 15
cuts made, which is like,
yeah.
I mean, come on.
For an event like the Open, right? Like where you can, you might get caught in the wrong draw or something like that. He's so good at bouncing back from these bad numbers too. Like, I expect Sergio's going to take a big number here or there, but even at the French Open, you saw he had that bounce back ability kind of coming back, and I really like to see that there. So I'm in on Sergio this week. I'm not sure how in for DFS. I might not go crazy, but because his price is $9K. I mean, and there's a lot of people below him who are arguably in better form right now. So he does have that against him. But I bet him. I got the top 8 again for like for just his record at this event. I think it's fine price for me, and I think it's fine. But DFS, like a big, if I had like one lineup to put in like a big money DFS, I would definitely heavily consider him, especially if he's going to be like under 10% owned. So that's where I am on Sergio. I do like him this week.
Yeah, I think I'm probably with you more on the betting aspect. I mean, listen, that top 8 you have for the each way, he's finished in the top 8 6 times, top 10, like you said, the number is 8 times in the last 15 years. So more than half the time he's finished in the top 10 in the Open. And obviously he had that lip out in 07, which, that's the first thing I thought of when he missed the putt on 18 at Augusta when he actually won. I was like, oh, no. So that's the first thing you think about when you think Carnoustie and Sergio. But listen, second place is second place. So it's a good finish, and it'll work for DFS betting most times.
Yeah,
Um,
no,
no, go ahead.
no. I mean, look, he's going to be an interesting watch this week. He did lots of narratives around him. I just feel like I feel like he's coming in a little bit better form than most people realize. And if we do get later in the week and the ownership projections are low, I feel like it's a good chance to take advantage. Obviously, you'd be bypassing players maybe like Kefka or Fleetwood, who at this point in their career probably better, even on a week to week basis have more upside. But for this week, for this event, I think he's coming in with a little more confidence than people realize. So just my opinion, throw it out there, take it for what it is. That's where I am on Sergio. I feel like we're going to see a big week from him. So
I don't want to make it a big, a thing here, but $100 less, and now we're talking about Tiger again. And
yeah,
what I mean, what are your thoughts with him? I mean, obviously, I like that it's a difficult setup. I think that's, listen, if it's going to be a scenario where the putting is a little neutralized, maybe this is a good spot. What are your thoughts?
I like the fact that this might be a real course management spot for a guy like Tiger because he's so good at that.
Yeah.
He won at the last time he won the Open. I think it was Hoy Lake, and that's basically what he did. He just hit iron off every tee, and he just pured his irons all week, and he just like beat the course into submission by being smarter than everyone else. And I mean by hitting his irons better than everyone else, but still it was a smart play, and I feel like with the course setting up like that again, it's going to help him. Now on the other side, I don't know if he's quite there. Like, look at his performances in the first two majors. I mean, T55 at Augusta, whatever he was, barely made the cut. Didn't make the cut at the U.S. Open. Like, really started poorly there. I just don't know if he's there. I just don't know if he's had enough competitive golf to do well at a venue and an event like this yet. So, as much as I want to get on the Tiger Woods bandwagon this week, with where he is and with players like Day and Casey and Molinari behind him, and Sergio in front of him, who I also like and I think is rounding into form, it's hard for me personally to pull the trigger. I understand if people use him, and I'm not even telling people not to use him. I just don't think I'm going to use him this week, personally.
Yeah, it's hard at that number. I think your biggest argument, and it's hard to can't believe you're going to say this with Tiger Woods, but it might be a better ownership play.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a little bit of Tiger bump because he's Tiger, but at this price with who's around him in this type of field, I feel like.
Yeah, he won't be heavily owned. I agree. I don't think he will be.
I mean, my initial guess, and I'm never necessarily right on this, but if he's in the low teens, then why not? I mean, I feel like
Yeah,
Tiger, you're
it's
generally
true.
going to think you're going to get him in the 15 to 20 range based on just popularity. But yeah, if he was in like the mid low eights, he'd probably be way up there. But at 8,900, you really got to make a decision on whether you're going to go with Tiger or not. So
It really comes down to how you feel about the other players around him too.
yeah,
I mean, that's kind of why I'm leaning towards not using him. I like the way Sergio's coming in, like I already said, and I have to say, and I know people are going to hate me for this, but I'm kind of interested in Jason Day too. Um, the way this course is setting up, I mentioned I think it helps Tiger Woods. I think it helps Jason Day too. I think it's going to bring more emphasis on short game because people aren't going to be able to hold the greens, hold the fairways. It just sounds like it's going to set up, and I just can't forget when he won the Players Championship how fast the course was that week. I mean, it was literally burned out, and he won going away. And maybe he's not quite in that form, but the guy's won twice already this year. Like he's not in that bad form, and who cares if he has to rely on his short game? That's quite possibly what everyone's going to have to do this week. So
it's interesting
I,
because he's got a.
he's really polarizing for me this week. I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah,
Go
I
for
mean the track record is interesting because he hasn't missed a cut. He only has the one strong finish when he had coming down the line with when ZJ won or
Yeah, at St.
with
Andrews.
those guys, but so he hasn't had many high finishes, but he's made the cut. And I think that's important to kind of consider because again, when you talk about him, you talk about Sergio the way he did. Um, there has to be something to be said for the level of consistency in this type of event that who knows what can go wrong on any given shot. So I think there's a lot there. I mean, listen, we do have him ranked 20th in form. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't dislike him. I think it's interesting that when did we think we were going to say Tiger Woods was going to be more expensive than Jason Day? I don't think
Yeah,
that came a lot sooner probably than people think. I think it also depends on how much you like Paul Casey. Obviously, right next to him.
yeah.
So we have Casey above him. Decent record here. Obviously, 3 starts on tour, 7.7 average finish. So I'm kind of flipping a coin between the two of those. I mean, I know we jumped on him for the betting. So I like Day. He has all the tools. It's been a little hard for me to pinpoint Day this year. He's got 2 wins, so he's not playing poorly. It's just you don't know when he's gonna get it done. I mean, last time out at the Travelers, what did he finish? I think 12th. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean
he's playing well.
I mean you're absolutely right. And for me, I'm not even sure. Like obviously just talked out how this could be a great spot for him. I know for one thing for sure, I'm going to be betting Jason Day. His price this week, he's actually 40 to 1 in spots. I just checked. Like I can actually go on and get Jason Day at 40 to 1 in a major, which to me it's actually insane.
Well, go get him for me. I'll take 40 to 1.
Oh no, I mean
That
we're
will
gonna
do. We'll
we're
have
gonna
that
do that
conversation.
after. Like, and that's the thing. He might be a better bet than a DFS play because it's like you said, he's not trending that poorly. Even in the survival guide, I mean, he's near the top of the second class, so he's just outside of the first class. But I love Paul Casey this week, and for DFS, like I feel so much better with Paul Casey. I mean, his all round game is there. He's improved the putting. He's got a good course record. He's got a top 3 at this event in the past. I also bet Paul Casey, so I mean we're already getting to the guys I'm really juicy on here, but I agree with you 100%. I feel like especially if you're doing like one lineup and you have to choose between the two, just use Casey. It's the easier, it's probably the smarter choice.
I mean, we jumped on Casey at 40 to 1 right after a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
so
and, the betting's interesting. He dipped down, and I think he's actually dipped back up this week. I think people are they don't want to bet him because they feel like he can't win.
yeah.
I've already gone on record why I think that's stupid personally, but I think he's setting up really well. I think you look at all the trends, all the other factors, the experience, a guy who actually really does well in tougher courses too. I mean, look, he won the Valspar at -10, like one of the tougher PGA venues out there. I think it sets up perfectly for Paul Casey to possibly win. Now, look, he has troubles on Sunday. If he doesn't get it done, I won't be shocked. But DFS, yeah, I agree. This is the price where you take Paul Casey.
And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to get on him at 40 to 1 for a Day. I got 40 to 1 on Casey, and then I don't want to gloss over Molinari.
Yeah.
But if you jump right back down a little below, you got Alex Noren, who we jumped on early in the year. I think I have him like 55 or something to 1 to win,
Yeah.
which wasn't feeling as good like a month ago. But now all of a sudden he's playing well again. He just won in France, so in my mind I'm going to have Noren, Day, and Casey at 40 to 50 to 1. Like I feel great about the those guys. Especially at those numbers, because a lot of hedge equity if they're in the mix. But yeah, let's jump right back up because we can't not talk about Molinari. Guys finished in first or second in 4 of his last 5 worldwide starts. The only other one that wasn't a top 2 was the 25th at the U.S. Open, so nothing really to smirk at there. But I mean, he's doing everything well. I mean, strokes gained positive on both ends of the ball. It's pretty consistent. It's really cool to see what he's. I thought there was going to be a point in time this past weekend when I was looking at the leaderboard that he was going to do the same exact thing and then and go win big. But of course, that actually happened with Michael Kim. So it's definitely interesting. I mean, he doesn't have the greatest record in the Open. I mean, he's made some cuts, but overall, he's 6 of 10 cuts, which is like an average cut percentage. But the average finish is 57, so nothing too special. What what are your thoughts when it comes to his record at the Open? I mean, do you just throw it out the window because he's been playing so well and it's a different kind of player right now?
Yeah, I kind of do. I know there's going to be some people who bring up his links record and stuff like that because I mean he's not really what you call a prototypically great links player. Like even on the European tour, he's not really done well on more like in Scotland and stuff like that. So I guess it's something to consider. But when you have a player playing at this high a level, I just feel like he's got to be on your radar a little bit. I don't think he's someone he was not someone I would want to fade completely. Let's put it that way. Even if his ownership gets up, I do feel like it's kind of good him and Paul Casey are the same salary because I feel like I don't think either one of them are going to get to become like super chalk. I guess what I'm trying to say, especially because people will still try and mix in some Day and Matsuyama and stuff like that. So I'm going to have at least some exposure to Francesco. I just feel like again. Maybe he doesn't win, but he's just playing too good. It's just, I just feel like it's kind of fancy play syndrome to not get some exposure. That's my opinion. I'm not even like a fan. I'm not even a Molinari like fan. I just feel like he's playing so good.
I think I agree. I think the expectation should be tempered. I don't know that I'm going to be betting him outright. I don't know that he's going to go win. I think you probably can expect something more like, all right, well now we're playing in a major again. He finished 20th at the U.S. Open. I think he goes out and. If he finishes top 20, it would make sense to me. But I do like him for DFS. Again, it's kind of like if you're going middle of the road on all the prices, you can get Casey, Day, Molinari, Garcia on a lineup, and then you still have a lot of extra room for some good players. So it just depends on what you want to do. But I'm not going to be having him on the card for outrights. But when you get in this range, I think there's one more player that. Just below, and we got to talk about this because it's more of a, are you scared to play him? But at 8,200, we got Stenson ranked up there, but is it too scary? I mean, he's 11 to 12 cuts here. Obviously a winner, average finish of 27.8, 5 straight cuts, average finish of 17.4 on the PGA Tour right now, 6th in form, 4th in history, 35th in the secret stat. Are you scared? I mean, he's done this to me. He screwed me over at Oakmont. He came out all right, and he did the same thing. So I'm scared to go 50% Stenson and then see you later.
Yeah, God, he just sticks out like a sore thumb. I mean, I look at this 8K range, and I'm like, it's stocked, and then I forget Stenson's there at 8,200. Like he should probably be 9,200. I mean, like legitimately, he's completely mispriced. So. He's 25 to 1 in the betting odds. Like that's shorter than everyone else in the 8K range. So it's shorter than Garcia. It's about the same as Fleetwood and Koepka. So it's ridiculous. If he wasn't coming in with an elbow injury, like say he had T10 last week at the Scottish Open, he'd be probably pushing close to 40%. Maybe not quite.
At this price, you're right.
But he should be. Like he should almost be 50% owned, assuming he's 100% healthy. I still think he's going to be chalk. I still think he's going to be the chalkiest player probably in the whole tournament. Do you have to play him? I kind of want to say no. I kind of want to say that this range is just so ridiculous. And you have guys like Noren and Molinari and Casey. I think you can stock up on those guys and take a chance at fading Stenson. And I just – the elbow injury – it's not even – I don't even know if it's the elbow injury, man. It's just – I just feel like – he's probably going to be a good, almost like a game theory fade candidate based on just the ownership. And then you add in the elbow injury and it makes almost too much sense. But maybe there's too many people thinking like me and he's going to be like 18% owned instead. And then it becomes an okay play.
Well, that's the thing,
it's a tough situation to be honest. Cause
I don't know, maybe just going underweight. I don't know that I need to fade, but like if you are going to
go max, just going underweight.
Yeah. If you're going to go max entry, I think more, if I look at our model, he's going to be like 50-60%, whereas maybe you just cut it to 20% on your own and you're probably still going to be underweight on the guy at 8,200. So
it's one way or the other. I agree. I mean, if you have 100 lineups, playing them in 50, look, you're getting the best value out there. I can't even say it's dumb. Like it's not. You're gonna, who cares? You're overweight on the field. You've got literally the best value. Why not go overweight? Yeah, you got the elbow injury to worry about. I'm not sure the elbow injury is really a big deal. He had some time off before. I don't know. I could just see the guy he's Henrik Stenson too. I mean, he could easily have just wanted the extra week to prep, and he feels good about his game. So, it's one of those situations where definitely try and get more information. Try and listen to his press conference, whatever. But I I can definitely see either way in this spot.
Yeah, he's kind of a TBD guy to me, to be
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we'll say this, like you said, the guide and the data says just play him, man.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
it's ridiculous. So, you pretty big on Reed this week too?
I'm kind of surprised that he technically is at the top of the second class. I'm surprised he didn't crack the first class.
Yeah,
I think.
I guess that missed cut at the Travelers probably.
I think that hurt him. I think he's only 2 of 4 in the British Open, making the cut. It's got to be that. So the fact that he's still up there, maybe that's a testament to how well the form is, especially in the big events. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, if he's kind of having a major year like Ricky did. I mean, is he going to be at the end of the year? We say Reed finished in the top 10 in all or top 5, whatever, in all 4 majors, and for that to happen, he has to play well here. And I don't know, he's creative enough around the greens. I'm not sure. I think it's a little different Reed. It's like there's nothing too sexy about him, but he is showing up in these big events, and he is 11th in form for us. So I'm not excited by him because the guide isn't as excited, but I feel like he's been like in the top of the second class for all of these big events, and he's played well. So I don't know why he hasn't gotten the respect from the numbers.
Yeah, he played the Scottish Open last week too. I mean, T23, pretty respectable week. I think he had 3 rounds under 70. It was an easier links course. I mean, I'll say that it's not like he played lights out, but like I said, it's a good lead up. A lot of people who have gone on, Stenson was like T13, and then he came to the Open and just destroyed people the week after. So it's a good lead up event, I guess, is again what I'm trying to say. So I'm not super high on him. I might mix him in. I could see myself just getting more Noren or getting some Stenson instead and just saying screw it. Yeah, I mean we should probably just play him in the majors this year because, like you said, he's doing so well. But I get the argument. What about Matsuyama? We didn't even talk about him. I mean, is there any love there?
There isn't right now.
Yeah.
I'm still willing to kind of look into it more to give me a reason, but he's up there. He's still second class because he's a quality player overall. I mean, but in terms of being excited about him, I think he's more in the second class just because he's shown he's played well in this event. The trend is decent, but the form overall is not exciting enough for me to at this price. I mean, there's just too many guys in this range that I can be excited about that I can't be excited about all of them. So he's one of the guys that I'm not that excited about.
It's a little bit like Spieth. It's hard for me to see Matsuyama get his season going on like the hardest links venue in the world.
Yeah.
Like you'll probably see him get it going later in the season at like a different, easier venue. Maybe not a Carnegie. It's hard to see. It could happen, but who knows?
Another guy that we've liked a lot this year that I'm also not on right now is Phil.
Yeah.
They're right there at 8,100. I mean, I think he's appropriately priced, but I'm not that excited about him. And I just, with all the controversy and stuff going on after post U.S. Open, and then what happened at the last event,
the Greenbrier.
That's what I mean. Like
the batting down the fescue cost him like 1 million strokes. God,
he's gonna have to take all kinds of questions on that, and then is his game really fitted for this? And you don't think it's not. It's like he's won this event because he's a great player and he got it done, but he's always said he didn't. His game is never really the best for this. So
yeah,
it's tough there. What about our boy Leishman?
It's coming in a little bit under the radar, I have to admit. He played pretty well at the Quicken Loans. Missed the cut at the Travelers, made the cut at the U.S. Open. He's been all over the map, and the consistency is worrisome. But it's kind of like I said about Sergio on a links venue. I mean, this guy is he's one of the top 5 links players in the world at this point. Like, I don't think he's going to win. Although, God, this is such a tough course. Like, a player like Leishman could definitely hang around and then steal this. So I shouldn't even say that. I think he's actually in the mix for winning now that I think about it. I'll probably try and work a little bit in. I do like Grace underneath him. Obviously, the FGM Survival Guide has Grace ranked pretty high, I think.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, very high.
Yeah, he's really high. So Grace is kind of a similar situation. I said Leishman's the top 5 links player. So is Grace.
I mean, he's never missed a cut in the British. He's 4 of 4 cuts on tour. I mean, we have him ranked really high. I like Grace a lot this week.
Yeah, Grace and Leishman are very similar. I would actually probably lean. And one of the reasons why I wasn't super high on Leishman is because I'm pretty high on Grace. could easily see him win this week. I might even consider adding him to my card. I'm going to wait till Wednesday before I do any more additions. But Grace is a player. He hasn't missed a cut in like, I think it's almost been a full calendar year, just anywhere. His major record over the last 2.5 years is like insane. I mean, he's got top fives at like almost every event. So it's really tempting. I mean, the only thing you could say is he hasn't played since the US Open either. But I'm not gonna make that the reason I don't play him or something. I think he's one of the best plays out there. So 100% in on Grace. Definitely, we'll think about sprinkling some Leishman. I think if I had to pick between the two, it's Grace though for me. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go every single player by player, but it's like I do have a comment.
Oh no, I mean absolutely.
Guys, it's like
I want to talk about Tyrell Hatton at the same price. I mean, he played well in Scotland. He's a good links player too. He's got to get some respect. I like Grace more, but I might sneak Hatton into a lineup too.
I have no interest in Hatton.
No, zero
interest.
Is it just like a temperament, or just you think he's not quite there yet?
He's only made one cut in 6 tries at this event. And again, I know you can't really use course history in that way, but I do. I do.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point, in my opinion.
He's only sure. I guess he played well in the
Scottish Open
last week. 9th, 16th, but after even before those 2 finishes, I mean, he got cut in the 2 events prior in the Italian and the BMW. So that plus kind of on tour. I mean, again. Obviously, he's got the skills. He's got a world-class player overall. But again, it's not even. I can't even look at him and Grace in the same conversation at the same price.
Yeah, at least at this point, I feel like Hatton's a guy who will have his time in a major and give a top 5 or top 10 soon. But you're right. I mean, he doesn't have that pedigree yet. I do feel like he's coming in with some form. He's a player who holds form pretty well. So, like I said, he's not completely off my radar. I might mix him in a little bit, but yeah, if you're talking about him versus Grace, I'm taking Grace all the time too. So definitely with you on that at least. Going down, it gets more interesting here because it's easier to cross some of these players off, but at the same time, you have to recognize one of these guys might pop up this week. Talking about Adam Scott, Bubba, Poulter, Usti, Kuchar, Russell Knox. I mean, of these players, obviously, I mean, I think I know the 2 that we're probably the highest on, at least especially from the guide's perspective. But, just give me your thoughts in general. I mean, are you just crossing Bubba off this week?
I am. I don't want to because I'm also of that mindset, like, the guy is... he's got 3 wins. He's a multi-major champion. But it's bad. It's just bad.
I personally have no problem crossing Bubba off this week. It's just if it happens, it happens. It would actually be pretty funny, but I don't think so. Guy just does not into transferring his game over here right now. At least it doesn't appear to be, unless he's been playing crazy links golf that I don't know about on the side. But I don't think so. So. I'm fine. I'd probably rather chance Adam Scott if I was going to go between these 2.
I mean, we have Poulter in the first class, so
yeah. Those are the 2 guys. I mean, Knox and Poulter were the 2 guys I was referring to. I guess I should have just gotten to that right off the bat. But yeah, Poulter. I mean, he's been playing over in Europe. Played the Scottish Open last week. He hasn't missed a cut in like nine events or something like that. I love it. Experienced player, good links player. He's got top 5s at this event over his career. He's a great cash game play, in my opinion.
I would agree with that.
So, yeah, no, give me some Ian Poulter. And I think Russell Knox is fine, too. I worry a little bit. He hit a wall last week. He was only T49 at the Scottish Open. Faded a little bit over the weekend. But his run-up has been so good. I mean, he was top 15 at the US Open. T2 at the French. Won the Irish Open, which I documented well a couple weeks ago. But, he's been in great form. Again, cash game Poulter for me. Tournaments, I might side with Knox, but
that finish last week cost him a spot in the first class because he was in it towards the bottom, right. And then updating, with this past week, he slipped just at the top of the second class. So he's still up there. He's still up there, but just not as much. But just so you can kind of people don't generally get to see what happens like to the rankings from a week-to-week basis, so you can actually see how this stuff will move based on the results. So, given the class of the field and not, I'm sure if he finished about, another top 10 last week, he'd probably still be up there, but got to temper a little. Usti, listen, I'll always consider Usti in a in a British Open. Wind player, has had some high finishes, obviously.
It's concerning though. I mean, he pulled out of the Travelers, and I don't think he gave a reason for pulling out of the Travelers, but now he pulled out of the Scottish Open last week with a neck issue. So you got to be thinking this thing's lingering. And the way he made it sound on social media is that this isn't just something that popped up.
Mm-hmm.
So little worrisome. I hate fading Usti completely, especially at a major like this, like you said, but I think I'm going to be. So that's where I am on Usti, especially because, obviously we just talked about like 3 or 4 players in this range we like, but he can go down and there's a couple guys that I like from this range too. I mean, Matthew Fitzpatrick is snuck into the first class this week. I just saw that.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused by that because I haven't been following him much. I mean, it shows 17th in form. I mean, you got the 2 events on tour. I mean, 2 or 3 making the cut here.
He's T12 at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I finished 14th last week. I mean, he was cut at the Irish, but 27th at France. So it's really sneaky. I don't know how he got in there, but again, I don't question the guy. I don't manipulate it because I don't like it. I did not expect to see it, but there he is.
Yeah, no, and he wasn't really on my radar honestly until I saw the guide. So I don't know if that's going to be end up being a good thing or not, but he's a talented player. I mean, he's got, and we talked about Hatton not really having those finishes. Fitzpatrick was T12 at the U.S. Open. He's had a high finish at the Masters too, so he's got a little bit of the major championship experience out there.
Yep.
He's a guy I'm going to have to debate a little bit about. I'm not going to bet him, I don't think, but from a DFS perspective, I could definitely see myself perhaps using him in a lineup or two. We'll see. We'll see how the weather breaks too, but I'm slightly interested in it now.
What about I bring him up because a guy that I've kind of been pushing for a while, a second class Cantlay, making his first British Open start. The only reason I'm actually bringing him up because I went over to this to Stat Searcher sorted by wind. He's actually one of the best scoring averages in wind. So I just to take that. I mean, it's not a huge sample size, but 15, 20 rounds or so compared to the rest of the field. So with the fact that he's playing decent this year and he can play in the wind if that comes up. Other than that, nothing too crazy to get excited about. But second class guy might be a low ownership, good DFS play.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I still feel like Cantlay will get a little bit of ownership just because people know him so well. And I'll be honest, I'm probably going to use some Thomas Pieters this week, for better or for worse. He's made 5 cuts in a row. I know he's not really up there in the survival guide, so don't look there. But he's a pretty good links player. T6 last week. Short game is a little bit like Ricky. It looks really sharp right now. It's more of just an eye game, gut feel play kind of thing. But I do feel like Thomas Pieters is trending really well right now. A little bit under the radar. T14 Italian Open, T18 in Germany, T31, T40, and then T6 last week. It's a good lead up for a really talented player. So, yeah, it's obvious. Look, it's a GPP play. The guy is a pretty proficient birdie maker too. So I think that's something to consider. But of this range, I mean, I think Fitzpatrick is interesting. I definitely probably get Pieters in a lineup or two. And again, these are all subjective to the weather. Thomas Pieters tees off early Thursday. Again, if that early Thursday wave looks like it's going to get an advantage, he's definitely a player I would very much target from that wave. Now, if it flips the other way, I'll probably go away from him. But just something to consider. Another player in this range who's in the first class we didn't mention yet, actually. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean, how did Luke List sneak in there after that third place last week, right? I think it's
he's another, third place. The Scottish Open, man, was leading after round 1. He's another player. He's kind of like Pieters. I'm gonna very highly consider Luke List this week. Very highly.
Very interesting for him to pop in there.
His all-round game has been really good this year, and it is interesting. I mean, I don't know how much links golf the guy's played, but just to head over to Scotland and just be like, hey, T3. it's pretty impressive. It is. Most players who top 10, top 15 at the Scottish Open, they usually do pretty well the next week. So another player who's a birdie, he can make a lot of birdies. I don't mind it. I don't mind it, quite frankly. From this range, Peters and List, for me, especially pure GPP plays, but there'll be targets for me, like to get in there, especially in big fields. So
I'm really confused about Finau, because
Right.
I like him. I love him. 100% love him. Form is there. I mean, he's made both cuts in both opens. Average finish 22.5. Huge finish at the U.S. Open. So like he's played in big events. Huge finish at the Masters. Like I don't know why it was 7,200. I mean, this
Yeah.
is the best Finau we've seen on big stages and kind of overall. So. Yeah, I mean, I'll take the Finau this week. I mean, it's got to be chalky, right? I mean, everyone's gonna have Finau, no? Or what do you think?
I'll be honest. He's not. I don't think he's going to be nearly as chalky as people think. I think people are going to talk themselves out of it.
Good.
I'm kind of there with you this week, to be honest. Like if you're so big on him at the U.S. Open on a tough course, why wouldn't you be big on him this week at another tough course? Yeah, it's a links course, but it's not like they're playing a different sport. Like some people almost feel that way, and I don't really agree. He's been 27th and 18th at this event.
That's what I mean.
Like maybe I'm off on this. I really feel like people are going to get a little bit too fancy and play guys like Sullivan, Andy Sullivan. They'll throw in, play some Webb Simpson. Zach Johnson is at this range, and I mean, I think Zach Johnson is a fine play in cash games. But yeah, it's like Finau's got better upside. There's no question. So
I mean, someone explain to me. Someone call DraftKings and explain to me how Danny Willett and Tony Finau are the same price.
How about Jorge Campillo and Tony Finau?
Exactly. Like I feel like I need to go on some sort of rant to let out the anger. I didn't actually look into it. I mean, I just saw when I first put out the guide, I just looked at like the rankings to see who was up there. I never really compared the pricing until we're having this conversation. I'm like, what am I looking at?
You know what's funny? He's priced so low this week that I almost have forgotten about him like multiple times, because I scroll through and I'm like, oh yeah, Poulter 78, I'll consider him. I get to Peters and I'm like, oh yeah, and after that it thins out a little bit. And I forget Finau's down there. Like he's so low that you almost forget about him. It's almost a little ridiculous. So I agree. But yeah, people. He was in Utah last week because of his foundation. Some people were talking about that. Look, it's the same as Stenson. You're just getting such good value. You need to take advantage of it. In my opinion, anyways, especially with Finau, who's not coming in off an injury at least. So, yeah, interesting situation to monitor. We'll see what Bobby puts up for the projections later in the week, but I really do have a feeling like he's not going to get crazy chalky.
Mm-hmm.
20% is fine. He's got the upside, man. I mean,
if he's under 30%, then I'm thrilled at that price.
Top 10 the Masters on one leg, like seriously, like give me a break. Who cares? Links golf, it's not that big a deal. I will say this: at this range, if you want to get a little nuts, Thorbjorn Olsen, man, 7,200.
You're there on him. You've been talking about him for a couple of weeks now.
The guy is a complete boomer bot. He's talented though. He's a really talented player. Like I could see him winning a major one. I could see him winning this week. I'm not saying he's going to, but
I'm just gonna say. I mean, I don't want to take out any of your enthusiasm. He's never made a cut at the British.
Yes, he has. He's top 10 at this event. You must be looking at the wrong thing.
Well, what am I looking at?
He's definitely top 10. He's top 10 here. I think it was 2012.
Hold on, I think I got the wrong line highlighted. But I saw that. I'm like, I don't want to get too. Hold on.
No, he's actually got two major top 10s. He's T6 at the Masters, and I think it was 2013. He was top 10, like T9 at the Open, and I think it was 2012.
Yeah, all right. I don't have it right.
No, that's okay. But he's like the epitome of boomer bust. We'll just look at his recent form. Win at the Italian Open. He beat Molinari in the final round, who was like going off. He missed the cut at the U.S. Open. T2 at the BMW, shot 61 in the final round there, almost won. Then missed the cut at the French Open, and then T6 at the Irish Open. He's won the Alfred Dunhill Links Championship though. Another player he's a really good links player. So I would agree. The knock against him is he's not really consistent in the majors. Reports, who's ever reporting, he's in really good form though. He's sharp, so we'll see. It's a boomer bust play. like I said, Finau is there, but if I'm going off Finau at this range, I'm definitely going to mix in. I'm personally definitely going to mix in some Olsen. Maybe it's just like because I was on him at the Italian Open when he won, but I think he's actually he's got a chance for a big week. So something to keep in mind.
Let's see who else we got. I mean, now that we're getting down here, I mean, one other guy that we have down in this range, Grillo. He's the last kind of guy in the low price range that made the first class for us at 6,900. You like him? I mean, the numbers are there. I mean, I'm not going to argue with the guide when they give me a 6,900.
It's just another. It's the same situation as Finau. I almost forget he's in this tournament when I look at DraftKings because he's so low. Like 6,800 for Grillo, who's missed one cut, and it was at the U.S. Open this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, give me a break. I mean, no, it's a great play. I mean. He's got the all-around game. His scrambling has improved this year. His putting, absolutely, man. Like, you got to get some exposure. I mean, I don't even care if he's like mega chalk. And again, I think it's going to be the same situation. I think people are going to play people like Matthew Southgate because he's a great links player, and he is a good links player. He's not as good as Emiliano Grillo. He's not even close. Dylan Fratelli, he's a nice player. He's a young player. He hasn't really done that much though. Yeah, like Grillo is still a better play. I mean, yeah, could either of those guys I just mentioned pop up with the top 10? Absolutely. But Grillo for sure is the better player right now. So don't get too fancy down here, I guess is my opinion. If you're going to make 5 lineups and you need like 3 guys and you need 3 players from down here, use Grillo and 2 of them and one of those other guys in 1 or something. I don't know. Something like that. Don't go away too far from Grillo just because you think he's going to be too chalky. Because you can there's other ways to get on less chalky players. So, no, man. I mean, again, he's just priced too low. So,
all right, I got my Olesen issue. My issue is that silly little O in his name. I didn't have it like it didn't pull all the finishes. I'm like, God,
you didn't get the cross through the Danish. Yeah.
All right.
That screws people up.
Let's see. All right. Who else? Are there any? Who do you got for like? The punts, I mean, I know Ryan Fox is a guy you've been following.
First of all, we got to talk about one more player here.
Who did I skip over?
He didn't quite make the first class, but I like him.
Hold on, let me pull it back up here.
He's under 7K.
Under 7K, guy you like. I mean,
it's Henley.
Henley. Henley, yeah, there it is. I was like, who's in the second class under 7? And it's only Henley, so Henley and Hostler. So
yeah, I can tell you this. I can tell you one thing. It's not Chesson Hadley after last week. That guy can suck it. Anyways,
I'm over it.
MDF. He was 8 under, and then he played the last 12 holes and like 5 over at MDF. Give me. Oh my god. Anyways, sorry, I just had to rant there. That was like the most pathetic thing of the whole week. Anyway. How do you go 5 over at the John Deere Classic for 12 holes?
Well, yeah, Henley. Listen, second in secret stat. Obviously, that's why we like him. 8th in trend, 30th in form. History here. I'm not concerned with a player like Henley. Like if he was a premier kind of high end player and he had a bad history, then I'd talk about it. 3 or 5 cuts here. Yeah. It's kind of like
T20 at St. Andrews. T20 at St. Andrews.
Exactly. With Henley, you're not expecting like, well, this guy always plays well in majors. You're expecting he's playing well now. Maybe this is where he gets one of his better major starts. So that's where I would agree with you. Yeah,
and look, I wrote up. I think he could be like a shock winner here. I still think that. I do think that his run-in is very, very good. Like this is a player he's hit 80% of his fairways over his last 2 starts combined. He was 7th in scrambling at Greenbrier, 1st in scrambling at Travelers, and that's an area where for him it was actually one of his worst stats going into those like the last month. He's really improved his scrambling. The putter is obviously he got hot with the putter at the Greenbrier. If he stays hot with the putter here, I could easily see him like putting up a shock like top 5 or something. And the other thing is he's a good wind player. Like I think the tougher conditions favor a guy like Henley. He's gonna hit the fairways. The faster fairways, and this is me speculating a bit, but the faster fairway is going to help a guy like him because he's going to hit the fairway anyway. So if it rolls further for him, it just takes away the distance advantage of guys like Brooks or Dustin. So, oh man, I high hopes for Henley this week. I hope he gets a good draw and stuff like that. But no, I definitely going to have some exposure to him. I already bet him at 150. It's more for the top 8 stuff, but still, love it. playing really well.
What
So
I'm trying to think. So anyone else down here? I mean, like I said, I mentioned Ryan
So-
Fox because you were betting him.
yeah, I mean Ryan Fox in good form. I did mention Matthew Southgate, who actually is in pretty good form too, and it is a good. He's actually, I think he's a member at Carnoustie.
Okay.
He's a terrific links player. Like he's come T2. I think he's actually got actually was he top 10 at the Open last year? I think he might have been.
The names from he definitely had a good run. Let me see. The event history by
Yeah, he was. He was sixth here last year. He was 12th here the year before. So Matthew Southgate. I mean, this guy is a legitimate player. I mean, I know I kind of dissed him by saying Grillo's better, and he is, but this guy can play the links, man. I mean, like he knows what he's doing here. So definitely a player, like especially if I'm looking to stack a wave and I need like a cheap GPP play down here, I would not feel bad about him. He's coming in, making some cuts. Had a T5 at the French Open, which is a really difficult course. And then Dylan Fratelli, the other guy I mentioned, he's playing really well too. Doesn't have the major championship experience, but three top 25s coming in. Played well at the Scottish Open last week. He's definitely got the game to pump out like a decent major championship finish at some point. So, like him, Alex Bjork is another guy. Played well last week. He's been playing the Euro circuit really well. Very good short game on Alex Bjork. So. I could see him playing okay too. Of those three, I think Fratelli's probably at the most upside, but I think all three of them for GPP picks, I like them.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is really down more in your range because you're all on the Euro stuff, so I don't know much about these guys.
What about Ryan Moore? Like, what are your thoughts on Moore?
He's got the form there, kind of mixed bag in this event. We've liked him for a while, and he didn't really, every time we liked him enough to really talk about him, he kind of went the other way. He's in the third class, so he's kind of middle of the road. It might make more sense to kind of get on him at 6,700. He's probably, of the guys in that range. I mean, if you take the guide, what I like to do is it's always, it's set when I upload it to sort by the FGM score. If you sort it by price, what you'll notice with the coloring on the FGM score is like at each price level, it basically then ranks it by price, then by FGM score. So at that price, he's by far, it's him and Howell, and then everyone else is garbage. So like at each tier, you see like green down to red, green down to red. So yeah, I mean, if you're going into that range, you need someone at 6,700 to make it work. He's by far the best guy at that price. So that's the argument I would make. I mean, if you're arguing him against people that are, we really like, I'm not sure I'm there, but down here, yeah, he's one of the few guys. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of the same argument like Stuart Sink, Ryan Armour, Austin Cook, like those guys. I don't know how much I trust them, but those are the guys in that range that maybe I can consider.
Yeah, Stuart Sink's interesting. I mean, he has been like ball striking real well, as actually his putter heated up a little bit too. So, Ryan Moore, he's actually played this event in 2007. Ryan Moore did. He was T42. His best Open finish is T12. I think it was St. Andrews. No, it was the year before St. Andrews. I don't even remember where they played that year. So, So, I mean, Ryan Moore's got some Open experience. Definitely, 6,700. I wouldn't put anyone off that. I do think Stuart Sink is interesting too, for sure. I think Stuart Sink is in play this week. As weird as that sounds, he's so cheap. He's going to let you fit in, who else you want, and just with his consistency and his his Open Championship experience, why not? Austin Cook, better player, but I can't sit here and tell you he's gonna take to this event right away. So I would actually probably feel better with Sink. Cook more risky, but maybe tad more upside.
Interesting, really interesting here is at 6,500, Retief Goosen.
Right.
I don't know if I want to be excited, but you realize we have him ranked second in history. He's made 10 of 11 cuts, average finish of 18.6. I mean, I don't know. When you get a player that gets older, then maybe that doesn't come into account as much. But like, there's something to be said for that too. I would think if you need to go 6,500 for some reason, then like, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm kind of glad you brought him up because I was looking at him earlier in the like on the weekend or something, and I'm like, oh, Goosen, like he didn't even play. He's T6 at the St. Jude a couple weeks ago, like a month ago, and he's hit or miss. He's missed a ton of cuts, but he's still. People forget he's a former top 5 player in the world, I guess. And the one thing about the Open and links is it does bring these older guys into play more because it emphasizes course management more. In my opinion, that's a big reason why you see older players pop up. I agree, 100%. I think Goosen almost fits into the same thing as Sink. Like, he's completely in play this week. All he's got to do is just roll the putt a little bit, roll the putter well, not, avoid the crazy fairways, because everyone's going to be hitting at 300 yards, with like a 3-wood or whatever. And Goosen can actually probably still get it out there. But
I should preface that all with that 10 of 11, he's only played in 2 Opens in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
So that was all
he
from
hasn't played much recently.
Yeah, it's all from 03 to 10, but that record from 03 to 10 is outrageous. So
and the last time he did play was 2015 at St. Andrews.
He finished 20th.
20th.
Yeah.
So I mean, there you go. So I agree. He's in play. I mean, for especially looking at that range, I know some people might say, "Oh, Siwoo Kim." I'm done with Siwoo Kim for the time being. I agree. Goosen is the play for me. Matt Jones is kind of interesting, actually. He's T12 last week. He's popped up, sporadic record, but again, a guy who can get it going with the putter. Not a bad win player either. Aussie, obviously. So someone else to consider at that range. It might lean Goosen, but Matt Jones definitely the other player I'm on.
I don't say. I mean, listen, if you can go down a little further, I don't think you ever need to.
No, I don't think so.
And this is just off of his finish last week, and you mentioned him on the pod, and we had him up there in the second class. But Bronson Burjoon, he's at 6,300. If for some reason you're down in that range, I mean, he's well above anyone else, anywhere near him. So just based off of his finish last week, obviously playing well. I don't know that that's going to translate. I'm not suggesting him, but I don't find myself in a position that I'm going to need to play someone at 6,300.
No, so. I don't think I'm going to do that either. But I agree. Talent-wise and form-wise, it would have to be him. Only other name I'd throw out, and I'm not really suggesting you play him either, but Tom Lewis is a pretty solid player. Or I think he won like a St. Andrews Junior event back in like 2011 or something like that. So he's got a lot of links experience. He's been in better form over the last year and a half. Burgoon right now is better, but Lewis does have like the links and the open experience. So either of those two guys, those would be the only two, Burgoon and Lewis. Don't play it. Don't go down. That's the best advice I can give. I mean, this is no point.
Jeff, we've been on here long enough. I don't think we need to stretch these guys.
No. You don't want to talk about David Duval?
I mean, I want to talk. I want to talk about a world where he makes the cut and I can actually watch him play and enjoy that. But no, he's gonna go, what he's gonna do. He's gonna go out there. He's gonna play 2 rounds and then he's gonna be in the booth the next 2 rounds. We'll see him there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. What about obviously we talked about bets a little bit, but is there anyone? I mean, obviously, okay, we're both on Norin. We're both liking the number on Day, and I just feel like I got to get a piece of that. Both on Casey. Is there anyone else for you that you got your eye on right now?
Just because of this conversation, I'm gonna start considering if I can get Garcia in that 30 range.
Right.
If he's there, I like that number. I don't hate DJ.
Really?
At 12. Yeah, I mean, I've seen him on in the 14 range in some places. Just listen, last year we put Spieth at 9-1 on the bets. I'm not that confident yet, but just because I feel like he's by far and away the best player, I would expect him to be maybe an upper single digit. So I'm not saying I'm there yet, but I'm watching it.
Interesting. I think I'd rather bet Rose. That's just me personally, but. The difference in odds isn't that big between them, though, so I do kind of get the DJ.
Yeah, I mean, he's 16, so...
Yeah, Rose is 16, DJ is 12. You might be able to get 14 on DJ.
That's what I'm thinking.
Actually, yeah, if you could get 14 on DJ, because then the difference is almost nothing. Then I would understand it. But
yeah, I don't have too much love everywhere. I'm going to start looking at some of them. Obviously, you'll have your picks out tomorrow. I'll have the FGM bets on Wednesday, so we'll see.
Yeah, actually, mine are already on site. I finished the article today because, I mean, obviously the DraftKings salary was up, and I've made most of my bets. But, yeah, I mean, obviously, other than the guys I mentioned, I bet Russell Henley, bet Thorbjorn Olsen at 100-1. I just feel like both those guys have the upside in form right now. And they're long shots, but that's kind of why you bet them at that number. That's why you each weigh it, too, right, for the top 8, top 5, whatever. So, but those are my long shots. I don't think I'm going to add anyone else too long. I might do some top 20s or something like that. I'll add it to the bets probably like Wednesday morning. If I do, But other than that, yeah, I don't think I'm going to add anyone too short. Like I said, definitely going to add some Jason Day. Might get on someone like Grace or Leishman if the draw looks like it's going to head towards them. That would be the only thing, but I'll wait till Wednesday to do that. So I'm pretty much locked in. I don't want to add too many more. And again, like I mentioned off the top, this event, you're going to have some good opportunities for like in-play value, in my opinion. So do keep that in mind. Try not to get too crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Anything else you wanna mention before we wrap this one up?
Not too much. I mean, listen, we have for those who haven't seen, if you're still listening, because it's about an hour and 15. It's our longest pod of the year. Long field, long pod. We have the FanDuel contest up. It's a $3 contest with their new the quick pick with the tiering. So check that out. We'll tweet about that a little more, just because it's a non-salary version of what we do. But other than that, I mean, listen, like you mentioned off the top, I mean, $15 gets you from now, the WGC, Bridgestone,
right.
These two majors through the end of the season. Like, I can't imagine. There's no better deal.
Yeah.
There's no better deal right now.
$15 monthly subscription, Fantasy Golf Metrics, get you the next 6 events through this, 2 major championships, Open, PGA, through the Wyndham. That's what's out there. It's a great deal. So definitely check it out if you're interested. But anyways, give me a winner quickly.
Oh, you want a winner? Guy wants a winner.
I do actually, yes. I need one. After last week.
I mean, I want Noren to win so bad, but I can't. I'm not going to pick him here. I think we're going to see Fowler get it done.
Oh, I like that call. I want to pick Ricky. I'm going to stick with Casey just because I made him my call earlier, like last week, and I do really feel like it's a good spot. But I will not be shocked if Fowler. I will not be shocked if Fowler or Rose get it done either. I really feel like both those guys with their lead up played well at the Scottish Open. They're in good spots, so I like the Ricky call a lot.
I'll tell you what, I don't think it's going to be like a long guy. I think a top guy is going to get it done this week.
Yeah, I think someone like 40-1 or better, like not more than that.
Yeah.
So, I'll go with Casey though. But yeah, I like the Ricky call. I really do, because he was on. Like I said, I had 3 guys: Rose, Ricky, and Casey. So, anyways, that's it. Jeff Ulrich. My name is Jeff Ulrich. You can find me on Twitter at The Fantasy Grind. Steven Richter at FG Metrics on Twitter. And hope you guys have a good Open Championship week. Talk to you again soon.
Take it easy.